Hey, Coach Randy Jackson is a high school coach in Texas, and he has developed a reputation for turning losing teams into winning teams. And he went to Mesquite Poteet as a head coach after they had just gone through a couple of pretty dismal seasons. And I read an article about him. It said Jackson stepped into a stagnant world that had grown to accept mediocrity from its football team, which had not won a game in its last 18 attempts. However, from the beginning, Jackson told his players that he was blessed to be with them, and they, in return, gave him one of the greatest turnarounds in Texas high school football history. And he said, it was a big deal for me to come in here and win them over, but they welcomed me with open arms and said, whatever you want us to do, Coach, we'll do it. They went on to the state playoffs, won 12 games that year, and Coach Jackson was named the 2010 Texas High School Football Coach of the Year. And since then, he has moved on to other schools and maintained his excellence in coaching. And he's now with the Grapevine Mustangs in Grapevine, Texas. And so, Coach, let me welcome you here to Christ Church, to our family here. And thank you again for your willingness to spend a little time with me and help me out with my sermon today.
Oh, Tim, it's what a big honor. I've always thought that preachers would probably like to coach a little bit, and coaches would like to get a chance to preach some. So this is my first opportunity to, I guess, not to preach, but get in front of a congregation. So I'm excited.
Well, that's great, man. Listen, let's get right into the interview. Now, I believe that when you went to Mesquite Poteet, that was in 2010. And can you share just a little bit about the culture of the football team when you got there, what you discovered about the culture and the climate of the team?
Yeah, Tim. It was just it was just in a bad place. They had the last 3 years were 5-25 combined, and the numbers were low, and just how it would be anywhere. If you're not winning, you're gonna lose the hearts and minds, and so I got in there and I knew it wasn't good. But the second day on the job, one of the coaches who's staying told me, he said, now, Coach, you need to realize the band makes fun of the football team here. And that was a little eye-opening for me. And so I knew then I really had a lot of work to do mentally, much more than physically, just making them feel good about being on the team and trying to – I think one of a leader's biggest job is to provide hope. And I knew I had to provide some hope ASAP.
Yeah. I know that you experienced like a tremendous turnaround, one of the greatest turnarounds in the state's football history, from what I understand. You went from 0-10 to 12-3. You were one game away from the state championship, from what I remember us talking about.
Yes, sir.
The team that beat you by 2 points, what, 29-27, was that it?
That's right. Uh-huh.
And they went on to win the state championship and like 60-something to 20-something, some crazy number. So if you could have gotten there, good chance you would have won it. Then they'd have made a movie about you guys, right?
We were close. We were close, but it was such a magical year that all I could do is think back and just feel like, all I could do is think back with great memories and not look at what could have been, but just how blessed I was. I mean, it was a magic carpet ride.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about how you and the coaches were able to change that culture? You mentioned earlier that it was not so much about football and stuff as it was about attitude and stuff. So what would you say about that?
I think the biggest thing was just I had replaced a guy, an old school guy that it really wasn't so much about relationships with him. So I got in there and started just developing relationships, meeting with the 2B seniors every day, and really just, nothing matters if they don't know you care about them, and breaking bread with them a little bit, inviting them to my house to eat and things like that. And so that was the biggest thing, was just to get in the relationships with them. And I really didn't think it'd be a quick turnaround. I just thought it'd be a slow deal. But we had 21 seniors, and I certainly didn't want to tell them we were rebuilding. I wanted them to know we were going to try to win it for, and just be good from the get go. And we got a little bit lucky early in the year, and they got some confidence, and we just kind of kept building on it.
Now, as we spoke earlier, I remember you talking about to create change, you need two things. You told me yesterday when we talked, you said you can either change through evolution or revolution. And
That's
I
right.
thought that was interesting. Can you talk to us a little bit about that concept and how that related to your team's turnaround?
Yeah, I think a lot of coaches, you have two choices. You can do it slow and not ruffle any feathers, and just kind of gradually, you can put a frog in some water, and everybody knows this, but heat the water up real slow and they'll never know it's boiling until it's too late. And so a lot of coaches, I think, come in and when they take over a program, and that's what they want to do. They don't really want to ruffle feathers. They don't. But and that's the evolution side. But for me, I'm more of I'm an impatient person. I'm a ready, fire, aim guy, and so I'm always in a hurry. And I would just rather rip the Band-Aid off. And we went for the revolution, and that's just how I've always done it. And I'm so thankful that we did. I mean, when I took the job, a friend of mine close to the situation said, Randy, I would just coach those JV kids hard and not worry about your varsity and make sure you're better the next year and all. And so thankful that we didn't do it that way. And so I just think that if you have that mindset that, hey, we're going to get better every day, we call it, one of my phrases, be a 1% warrior, and just get 1% better every day, then it'll add up. And before you know it, you've accomplished something.
Yeah. And I bet those 21 seniors were glad you did it that way too, huh?
Oh,
They got
yeah,
some memories for a lifetime there.
it's on Facebook. I'm talking to those guys as much as anybody. That's for sure.
I'll bet. Hey, one more question. As I hear your story, it seems to me that some of the same principles that you guys use to turn the football team around, and I'm sure you still use those principles, wherever you coach. But it seems to me like those same principles could be applied to life. People who are struggling in life, who need to make some changes to overcome some negative attitudes, or maybe overcome a rut that they found themselves in, or maybe some behaviors that they're struggling with, that some of this could apply to that. How would you say that could be true of life and not just of a football team?
Oh, I think I love that question. I think football is just life 100 yards at a time. I mean, I think everything we do is preparing kids to be productive citizens later in life. And those 21 seniors, for the rest of their life, there will be nothing that they don't think they can accomplish, because I'm telling you, they were all little mini celebrities for a time, in our community. And I just think that if you want more, you got to be more. And I'm a Christian, and I'm a believer. And when I get in the Word, and I'm intentional about getting in the Word, then I live better than when I get busy and I quit getting in the Word, and I can tell. And so, yeah, I think it's just basically a microcosm of what we did in 2010 is what anybody can do. But first, you got to believe it. It all happens in the mind first. But once you believe it, then you got to put it into action, and then you got to get 1% better every day. And I don't know why anyone couldn't do that in every aspect of their life.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Coach, I want to thank you for taking some time to share with us. I want to say this. Now, you might not have even thought about this yet, but Sunday is Father's Day. That's when this is going to air to our church. And one of the things I read about you is that you were at another school last year, I think, or maybe, no, it wasn't. Was it last year or the year before that you were at the other school, that you were only there for 1 year?
It was the 2013 season.
2013. Okay. But I read in there that you had made a decision to leave that school, and that was a pretty prestigious job. And they weren't asking you to leave. But one of the main reasons that I read in the article that you left was because you said, I've coached everybody else's kids for 25 years, and I got a teenage son, and I want to have some time to coach with him, because you were going to try to help out with the younger age kids too. To me, that says a lot about you as a dad, that you wanted to do that, and that was so important to you that you would give up what many people may think was the dream job, right? I mean, some people.
Yes, I mean, yeah, it's a school of 6,000 students, and it's one of the biggest high schools in the United States, and it was a bucket list kind of job. But once I got in there, I realized that I wasn't going to be able to spend it. If the setup wasn't good to grow a relationship with the younger kids.
Right,
So yeah,
right. But I know that one of the things that played a role in that was your desire to work with your own son. And
yeah,
as we celebrate Father's Day, I want to commend you for setting a great example to us to be good dads. And you know what, a good dad is a coach too, isn't he? That's what he does. He's coaching and helping, and that's what you're trying to do.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think coaching is the most honorable profession in the world when it's done correctly. And if you guys have good, honorable Christian coaches in your community, you need to celebrate them, because they're changing lives every day.
Yes. Hey, Coach. Once again, thank you, and God bless you. And now you told me you had a book coming out. What is the name of the book, and when is it coming out? And our folks might be looking for it in the bookshelf.
It's Culture Defeats Strategy, and it'll be coming out in the middle of July. And it's basically written for coaches, but it talks a lot about the struggles I've had, stories, telling stories through my career of how to develop culture, though. So a little bit about what you're talking about now is just how to change the mindset and win through culture.
Very good. Very good. Well, we'll be looking for that book on the shelves, Coach. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
So thank you, Tim. It's a big honor.
All right.